Why, hello there.
Hey, Nick.
Welcome to the Dripping Stone Podcast, the podcast where two friends raise a glass and we also have a conversation.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
That's called the intro.
Yeah.
You got to start with the intro.
That's
So
generally
they
where
say.
you put it.
At the beginning?
Yeah, at the intro.
Unless you're Christopher Nolan, and sometimes you put the beginning at the end.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
just to mess with people.
I think you have to achieve that. You don't just do it, though. You have to kind of build up to it.
Or you just start that way and then let everybody else catch up.
Yeah. I just feel like that's a way to fail.
It's sure. Do you want to alienate everyone?
Right.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm going for.
You or like Christopher Nolan?
I mean, I just, in general.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a weird way to start off. But hey, buddy, how's it going?
So good.
Yeah?
How are you?
I'm doing really well, actually.
You
Yeah.
look well rested.
For
as
now.
if you just got back from a
For now.
vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Very
You and
true.
I both know whenever you get back from a vacation, especially one where you cross multiple time zones, you ain't well rested for about 2 weeks.
It takes you a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
to
I can
readjust.
I can still see the haggard face in front of me.
Bro, you're saying it and like it's true. Like I never adjusted in the first place,
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
and I'm still readjusting on the way back. So it's like it's been a weird
You're double
couple
messed
of
up.
weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Anyway.
Thirsty?
thirsty.
Definitely. You want to drink something?
Yeah, let's do some drinking.
Okay. So we're talking about travel.
Yeah, we're teasing it,
Yeah.
but
Well,
we're gonna do it.
calling
Whoa.
it names,
Gee,
tweaking it
slapping
by the
around a little
nose.
bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. No. Yeah, we're gonna do some travel drinking.
Sure.
We
exactly.
did some traveling.
Exactly. Yeah.
And we've got some drinks that we acquired on said travels.
I like it. So you want to try those drinks and talk about said travel?
I love it.
Let's do
What
it.
a great idea.
Where do you want to start?
I mean, should we start with Scotland? That was accomplished first.
Why not?
Okay.
Okay.
I'm-
Good.
I'm for it.
So I went, my wife and I, we took a trip to Scotland.
To Scotland.
Yeah, we started in London. We took a trip to Scotland, and we're going to drink some things and talk about that trip.
Where'd you fly into?
Do you want to drink first?
Okay, yeah, let's get a drink in hand.
Yeah, because I could just easily just start talking about travel.
Yeah.
Drink in hand first.
Yeah.
I brought 2 scotches.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. First, we're going to try is the Blair Athol.
Blair Athol. Never
Yeah.
heard of it.
You probably have seen some things. It's a Diageo product.
Okay.
I actually bought this little tiny bottle. Isn't that a cute little bottle?
It is adorable.
It's a 200 ml bottle.
Okay.
Just enough tasting. I bought this at the Johnny Walker Experience there on Princess Street in Edinburgh. I got a little bit of a discount because I went to the lovely bar upstairs.
Yep.
I never had Blair Athol, and now I have some, and this bottle is just about gone.
You got a spit left there.
Yeah, so we're gonna dip into that.
Okay.
Listen to this little cute little cork pop.
Oh, not
Yeah.
bad. Adorable. Nice relief.
Yeah, little just just a little splash.
It is a cute little bottle, though. I wish more places did that. Oh, it's a 12-year-old.
Yeah. So this was the bottle that I bought in Edinburgh just to kind of have with me as I gallivanted around Scotland. It is a 12-year-old Scotch. Here's some bottle words for you real quick. Blair Athol Distillery, established in 1798. Kyle.
Wow.
Stands on peaty moorland in the foothills of the Grampian Mountains, an ancient source of water for the distillery. Alt door burn, the burn of the otter, flows close by. The single malt Scotch whiskey has a mellow, deep, toned aroma and a strong fruity flavor and smooth finish. Blair Athol Distillery in Piltreath, Perthshire, Scotland.
Wow.
Yeah. How's that?
What are we looking at ABV here?
43.
43.
Yeah, easy going.
Yeah. A lot of malt, a lot of vanilla on the nose there.
Yeah. A nice little color. I might say they might add some. Oh, it is 12 years though.
Yeah, you never know.
Ooh, yeah, real nice malt. This was a great dram to just kind of have and take around Scotland, as I said.
Yeah, I bet. I went through a whole 750 of Buffalo Trace my first time over there
I believe that.
in like a week.
Wow. On the palate?
On the palate.
Ooh. A little grapey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is very fruity.
Yeah.
Like a lot of malt.
A little raisiny.
But yeah, got a little raisiny. But yeah, I mean, it is more like almost like wine
Yeah.
natured.
You can see why I bought this one. Because it's easy going, nothing like super challenging. Because like this was not the only Scotch I was having while I was
Sure,
there, obviously. But it was nice to have just a small bottle of this, get back to the Airbnb hotel or whatever, and
Have a little
there you go.
sipsy.
Have a little sippy sip, yeah.
Delightful.
Quite delightful, yeah. As far as I know, you can get Blair Athol here in the States. I've not really seen it.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
But it is delightful.
Yeah,
it is like
it's
a
quite
raisin creme brulee.
That is a perfect
It
description.
is delightful.
Yeah, perfect. So yeah,
Good one.
Thank you. So in my Scottish travel, initially our goal, my wife and I, our goal was to go to Scotland specifically.
Yep.
But weirdly, the way planes and airfare and train fare kind of shook out, it actually was substantially cheaper for us to fly to London.
Yep.
And then take a train from London to Edinburgh, which I loved.
Yeah.
My time in London was really great. I really liked London. It reminded me a lot of New York with like just heavy history there. I mean, you're walking down a street in London and there's a Roman wall.
Yeah.
Like by a tube station.
Right.
Come on, man.
Yeah. I love London so much. Like it feels so comfortable.
Yeah.
Just couldn't recommend it more.
Yeah. We were there the right amount of time. We were there about 2 full days. After that, you kind of get city fatigue, or at least me, I get city fatigue pretty easy. And then we took a train from London to Edinburgh, which if you've not done that, for anyone who's listening, I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
It's not quite bullet train, but it does go a little bit faster. It's a little bit more of a direct train.
Right.
It does make a couple of stops, but it was a great experience.
Right.
There's some travel hiccups here and there, but just to get on a train and see the English countryside and then into Scotland, absolutely. It was a lot of fun.
Right. I bet.
And I like train travel. I know you've traveled on some trains.
Yeah. Like, I mean, train travel is incredibly convenient over there.
Absolutely.
If you're in Europe and the UK, like they've done such a good job of like connecting everything through rails that like you really don't need a car if you don't want it.
Right.
And yeah, I mean to be able to see more of what you would see than if you're in a little plane hopping over it is a rewarding experience.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. Like I wanted to be able to see the countryside, stare out a window, and be able to see things. I mean, you can take a plane, as far as I know, from London to Edinburgh, but
sure, if you wanted to.
Sure, but
hop on Ryanair and 30 minutes you're there.
Right. But for me, like that train experience, I think was a great way to start everything off.
Yeah.
Albeit, again, little travel hiccups aside. So then we spent a couple days in Edinburgh.
Yep.
Edinburgh's fantastic. It is a very old city. There's a lot of like, especially in that downtown. If you Google images of Edinburgh, the castle and that one long Victoria Street,
very aged.
Yeah, the Royal Mile they call it, and it's very touristy, but in a way that I actually enjoyed. Edinburgh was beautiful. I highly recommend it. I think it's good for, again, about 2, maybe 3 days.
I sent you a post earlier today that Edinburgh was ranked the second most recommended UK city.
I absolutely
by travel
that.
guidebooks.
Yeah, for sure believe that.
Means.
I believe that. And it's super easy to get around. We got outside of that area, that like touristy area a little bit. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Is it dramatically like more Scottish than like London?
Oh yeah.
I mean, it appears visually that it has like such a different vibe.
It's definitely a different vibe. Yeah. But because it's such a big city, it's not a big city like London's big city, but it's spread out too. But because it's a bigger city, it attracts a lot of non-Scottish people that work there and things like that.
Right.
So it's not as Scottish as some of the places we went, if that makes sense. But it's definitely like, you're in
It's still
Scotland.
big city. It's still international.
Yeah, you're in Scotland. Like traveling from London to Scotland, you get off and you're like, yeah, we're in Scotland.
Right.
But it wasn't like so dramatically so that you're like, it's not the same thing of going from like, London to Rome and like, oh my God, now we're in
culture shock.
It's not that.
Yeah.
But it's a different enough that you're like, oh, okay.
Nice.
But like I said, a lot of the people that we met were from England specifically, and they were up in Edinburgh for work or university, things like that, because Edinburgh University is a big university. So we met a lot of those people. We stayed in the Brewdog Hotel, which was fantastic. It was so cool.
Because that's got one of the most unique features I feel like I've ever seen in a hotel.
Oh yeah, the shower beer fridge.
Shower beer fridge.
Yeah, we've posted that on social media.
Yeah,
I love that shower beer fridge.
That's cool.
Funny story. We actually accidentally left those beers because we didn't drink them all there.
Right.
We left those beers in an Airbnb on accident.
Oh no! You could have grabbed them.
Yeah,
you took them with you?
Totally forgot. Just left them in there, and
bummer.
We were trying to get to the airport to grab a car and just left them in there. Yeah. Super bummer.
Did you have any NA beer?
I did not have any NA beer.
I know why.
Yeah, me too. So yeah, stayed at the Brewdog Hotel, also an Airbnb in Edinburgh, and it was a fantastic experience.
That's cool.
Ran over, picked up
a Brewdog.
No,
ran over a Brewdog.
No, picked up a car from the Edinburgh airport. Kind of did the whole like getting used to again driving on the wrong. I don't want to say wrong. Driving on the opposite side of the car.
Right.
On the opposite side of the road.
Right.
Getting used to that for a second in a relatively major city.
Yeah.
And then we hightailed it to the Spey region of Scotland.
You did some driving in Ireland last year.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
you'd kind of already done the thing.
Yeah.
Quick.
Definitely.
You were able to like readjust to it quickly?
Very easily. Yeah. Actually, it was far easier this time. Honestly, like just getting out of the parking lot was the most difficult part. And the first getting out, well, because you're at an airport and everyone's pissed off.
Yeah,
or like they're
everybody's
rushing.
got somewhere to be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So getting out of the parking lot was terrible. And then the first roundabout, I was like, the hell?
Here we go. Which would be to the left?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah. Terrifying.
So it's at first, again, maybe the first 10 minutes, I was like,
here we go.
In last year when I drove in Ireland, I was shitting a brick for 3 days.
Yeah.
Like it was nerve wracking. This time it was 10 minutes.
Sure.
And I was like,
all right, we're back in the saddle.
I think I had one little mishap where I got, the finger from someone, but
you're on vacation.
Yeah, it's fine.
Fingers don't mean the same thing.
Exactly.
When you're on vacation.
I got a very stern look and a gesture. Exactly.
Cool. I don't care. I'm on vacation.
Yeah. But other than that, like it was totally good. But I know you said like the rail system is great, and it totally is, but I highly recommend driving.
Yeah.
If you're in a country in which you can, because some like require different licenses and things, but I highly recommend driving because you're not beholden to a rail station and those timetables. You can do what you want, go where you want, and if you're like, I don't know, let's pop over to this grocery store for 5 minutes.
Right.
Plus you have like a kind of a roaming home base as well.
Right.
So we drove up to the Spey region north of the mountain region called the Cairngorms.
Mm-hmm.
We stayed outside of a little city called Nairn, which is about half hour Inverness, which is Loch Ness area,
right,
if you will. Stayed there for a couple of days, did some distillery tours.
Were you to the side of Spey?
We were to the side of Spey, yeah. I saw the River Spey multiple times. I actually dipped a hand in the River Spey. It tasted like whiskey.
Chili?
It was. It tasted like a single malt. It was kind of weird.
Hot damn.
Yeah. Did that whole thing. It was such a good experience. I wish I had more time than the half of an episode I get to talk about it, but it was phenomenal, and I highly recommend it. I said this to you already, and I know that we've already teased it a little bit here and there, but the distillery tours in Scotland are what distillery tours here in America wish they were.
Right.
Like, it is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Within a 30-mile stretch of road, there's, no joke, probably 50 distilleries. Wow. It feels like. I mean, I might be, hyperbolic a little bit, but like there was distillery after distillery after distillery.
Right.
I had this amazing meal, probably the best meal of the entire vacation, at a place called Feast, and it's there in Speyside region. It's on a hunting lodge grounds, kind of like estate.
Right.
Fantastic.
Epic.
Yeah. So then saw a bunch of old stuff, castles and things. Right. That kind of stuff. Hightailed cows. Saw a bunch of cows. I hightailed it over to the Isle of Skye, which was the highlight of the entire trip.
Right.
It was just so damn beautiful, especially like once you get out of the city. Amazing.
Right.
We did some hikes. We sampled a bunch of things at the Talisker distillery.
Right.
Like, just fantastic.
Epic.
Yeah. From there, we drove down south to catch a ferry to the Isle of Islay.
Oh.
We stopped at Oban. We went in and high-fived some people at Oban.
Right.
And then we got on a ferry to Islay. We barely made this ferry.
I was going to say, you weren't sure you were going to be on that ferry.
Yeah. It was touch and go for about 24 hours.
Right. Why?
Well, there was really bad weather, like really high winds, because all of the winds there in the Scottish Islands, the Hebrides, like, they disrupt a lot of things.
Right.
So there's going to be forecast for some really bad winds, and then our ferry was canceled. And then like they rebooked us on the ferry for like the next day at like 5 p.m., which would have given us like 2 hours to do distillery stuff. So ultimately, it worked out. We got there really early the next day.
Right. Wild that you got there.
Oh yeah,
And
like
just in
no
general,
joke.
because the one that they rebooked you on ended up getting canceled. Also,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And in fact, our ferry was the last ferry to Isla for like 48 hours.
Like crazy.
Yeah, our ferry was the last ferry out there, and then our ferry back to the mainland was the first ferry off the island.
Right.
So like, we just
Timing is ridiculous.
oh yeah, like, and it was a whole thing. Like, rarely do I freak out in situations like that. Normally, I'm like pretty cool and level-headed.
It is what it is.
Oh, dude, I was like, my wife can attest. Like, I was freaked out. Partially because I really wanted to go to Isla.
Yeah.
But then also, I'm like, how do I navigate all of this? Like, now what do we do for 3 days? Because that was our extent for Isla. So it was one of those things.
Do you know, like, is that like a summer thing or is that like an all the time thing? Like it could happen at any point.
Yeah, from what I understand, it's basically an all the time thing. Because like when we got to the island and we were talking to people, they're like, "Oh yeah, ferries." You know
what it is.
I'm like, "What do you mean ferries?" Like. That no one on the island seemed bothered by it at all.
Right.
In fact, where
they're just used to it.
Yeah, they must be. Like where we stayed, which was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I don't think we've made a post about it yet. Maybe we have. But if you're staying on Isla, I highly recommend you stay at Kilmeny, Kilmeny Country House. Fantastic. Like the people who run that are just amazing people. Fantastic breakfast. And I bring that up because amazing experience.
Right.
But we were there and there were some truck drivers who had very clearly got stuck on the island with us.
Right.
And they were just there hanging out and eating amazing food and bed and breakfast.
What'd you have for breakfast?
What didn't I have for breakfast? I
Pizza.
had
Pizza.
yeah, definitely.
Margarita.
Sushi. Margarita. Yeah. Full Scottish breakfast. Carol had some Scottish pancakes one day, salmon the next. Like, it was phenomenal.
Is haggis Scottish?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Did you have haggis?
I did, yeah.
Where'd you have haggis at?
Everywhere. Like,
Oh.
literally almost
Wow.
every breakfast, yeah. There was
Yeah.
some version of haggis that I had.
Is it good?
I think it's really
Sounds
good.
like it is.
It doesn't, like, when you... No.
Sheep's stomach? Love
when you list the ingredients, it sounds terrible. But it tastes like... Have you had black pudding?
Yeah.
Like that.
Right.
Like, but not as irony, because black pudding is bloody.
A lot of bloody.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
had
I
no
love all
problem
that
at
kind of
Awful.
innards.
OFFAL. Awful. Yeah.
I'm all
Fantastic. From Isla, I did every Isla distillery in some form or fashion, whether it was like driving by it, because we actually didn't get to go to Kilhoman, driving by it, or taking some pictures, but did a couple of different tours. Went to Bunnahabhain, had a fantastic warehouse 9 distillery tour, which we'll do those eventually.
Right.
Brought some goodies back.
Nobody.
Yeah, I know. And then, so once we did all that, we went to Glasgow, golfed outside of Glasgow, which was an amazing experience. At some point, I got COVID.
Nice.
Like, very clearly, that's what I had.
Right.
I was down for the count, but like, I couldn't really do anything.
Right.
So I was golfing in the rain. I don't recommend this, but I was golfing in the rain with COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And did Glasgow, and then went down for a couple of days, then went south. So the Johnston family is from the borderlands between Scotland and England. Okay. So we went down and we kind of saw all of the places that the Johnston family comes from. Right. So we did all of that, and man, it was a whirlwind of a trip. We were there for 2.5 weeks, and it was phenomenal.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Incredible.
So good.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
You've definitely inspired me to, like, the times that we've been abroad, we've yet to take a car anywhere. We've just only done train travel once we've been over there. I mean, and it's its own kind of exciting.
Sure.
And definitely is convenient, provides a lot of convenience, but there's the frustrations that come with train travel that I'm looking forward to avoiding the next time I go over.
Yeah.
Train traveling with a lot of luggage is its own kind of frustration.
Absolutely.
And yeah, like next time we go over, I'm looking forward to doing a car.
Yeah. And to be fair, like, car travel comes with its own set of frustrations as well.
Sure.
But to me, just having experienced some version of both, the ability to do what you want, because, like, if you just get a wild hair and you're like, I don't know, let's go 30 minutes that way.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Right.
And if there's no train station, or if you've got a bunch of luggage, you can't easily do that. But
I mean,
it
certainly seems like it removes the time aspect.
Yeah.
Anxiety.
Absolutely.
And because, like, yes, we're starting here and we need to get to there.
Yeah.
But the timeline that we accomplish that is not as relevant.
It does that, and it also adds the availability of spontaneity.
Right.
So that, again, if you're, because I mean, how many times have you sat on a phone, like just looking at a Google map and you're like, man, I'd love to go there.
That looks interesting.
But I can't do it because, you know, travel
the train won't
constraints.
pull over for us.
Exactly. Yeah. Where for us.
Or even if it would, I can't get off. I'm not getting off with all
I've
this
got
luggage.
600 pounds of luggage.
Yeah,
exactly.
not doing it.
So for us, there were multiple times where it was like, you want a coffee? Yeah. Coffee houses. It's like 20 minutes out of the way, but that one's like, looks cool.
Yeah, that looks fun.
And we're on vacation, so I don't care if it's 20 minutes out of the way.
Right.
So, you know, doing that kind of thing. Yeah. I definitely recommend UK travel, but obviously, because I didn't do all of the UK, but like Scotland specifically, phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like, I can't recommend it to enough people.
Right.
You know that there are touristy areas, but for us living in Central Florida,
in
like
the tourist capital of the world.
Sure, we're inundated with tourists, but it never felt busy like that. It never felt like,
right,
tourists.
Right.
Because obviously I am a tourist at that point, but like, I never felt like, oh man, this is ruining my experience.
Right.
Some places that I've traveled, I've definitely felt that before.
Sure. So like, having completed the trip, is there anything that you feel like, I wish I would have done this, or I'd like to go back so I can experience that?
Yeah. So like, because of the way that we had to travel from the Isle of Skye to Isla, and because of that ferry issue,
right,
we really didn't get to experience anything in between. And that drive from where we were in the Isle of Skye down
which is like directly north.
Yeah, basically. To
how close are you to the Arctic Circle at that point?
That's a good question.
You're up there.
I don't know exactly how close it is at that point. I will say, like, it never really got dark.
Right.
There is no astronomical dark in Scotland in the summer, at least where we were.
Right.
Because you're so far north.
It's always kind of like twilighty.
It's always twilighty. Yeah. It gets dark. The sun does set, but it's like twilighty. Like here in Central Florida, like it's dark. Right. In the summer.
Oh yeah.
But
if it's a new moon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It felt like here at home, like during a full moon.
Right.
Like that
all
kind of bright. Yeah.
I can see everything just fine.
Oh yeah. Like when we were one place we were staying, like I opened the blinds, which that was kind of a downfall. Like there is some AC here and there, but you don't need it. So you'd have the windows open, but then you'd have to have the blinds open to get the breeze, but then it's light outside. So it was like that was kind of hard to get used to. But because of the way we had to do that little bit of travel, we didn't really get to see anything between the Isle of Skye and Kennecraig, which is the port to get to Isla, which is a huge swath of the country that we just kind of like drove through. It was beautiful to drive through it, but we didn't get to do anything. So I would love to go back and do that. And there are things that we did that I would absolutely go back and do again, for sure.
Do you think you will? Do you think you'll go back?
I hope so. I really do.
Yeah.
We always have these conversations, and I know you do too, of like, could you live here? Would you want to go back? Mm-hmm. What was your favorite things? And both my wife and I were like, yes. There are some weird things about Scotland in general. Like, could I live here? I absolutely could live here. Mm-hmm. Would I want to go back? Absolutely, I'd want to go back. It's easy travel.
You're right.
I really liked it.
That's always like that. That's become my new thing of traveling to these places that are bucket list type places, and if you went and you nailed it the first time, do you risk going back?
And that's the exact conversation, because you and I have had that conversation. That's the exact conversation that I had with myself and with my wife, and even in the midst of that, like, absolutely, it's worth it going back.
Right.
I feel the same way about Ireland too.
Yeah,
like phenomenal.
Yeah. Cool.
But I did bring back another scotch.
What is said scotch?
To be fair, Kyle, I brought back a lot of scotch, but we only have so much time.
It's an episode.
So we're doing this one because it is a travel episode, and this is a travel retail exclusive. Buddy,
it's one of the leaders.
It is the leader of Bunnahabhain. This is something I can't pronounce because it's.
Let me read it.
Sure, please do. It's the Erich Na Greine.
You're mispronouncing it. It's the Erich Na Greine.
There it is.
The Erich Na Greine.
This is the limited. This is the 2023 Bunnahabhain travel release. It means morning sky in Gaelic. Sorry everybody for both Kyle and I butchering this. But it is like I said, the Bunnahabhain travel release, and I'm a sucker for Bunnahabhain, and so I bought this.
Do you have any of yours left from last year?
I do. Yeah. I know you just
I polished mine before I left because it's one of those things of completion.
Sure.
I feel like I need to complete this bottle because I bought it on last year's journey.
I get it.
Before I go on this year's journey. So yeah, I made it a bit of a
mission.
A mission to finish it off before I left.
You know it's Bunnahabhain because
ain't no pop. I gotta say that one had more of a pop than most do.
It's a fresh cork. Man, look at that. It's a no age statement. It's got some color though,
and it's natural.
Yeah.
Tastes like a pretty Bunna, or smells like a pretty Bunna.
Yeah, it's got some really like nice warming notes.
Caramelly, floral.
It's 46.3, which is also the ABV of regular Bunnahabhain.
To me, like from my memory of just regular Bunna, this seems like it's leaning more floral, and it's a bit more springtime.
I was gonna say it's leaning floral, but there's like a spicy note in there too.
Little baking spice.
Yeah, something like that.
Little clove.
Shall we?
We shall.
Ooh.
I would say it's like it's a touch more like barrel forward than regular Bunna, but you know it's Bunna.
I get mixed nuts.
Ooh. Which one specifically?
Planters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Not Publix.
I know, I do. Like
mixed nuts, you say?
Yeah, it's not specifically peanuts. It's like a can of mixed nuts.
I do get like a touch of salty.
Yep.
But yeah, malty forward. Not as floral on the palate, but I feel like it's still kind of like that potpourri nature is still kind of there.
There's like a hint of a whiff of a puff of a smoke. Just like a... To be fair, like in our pantheon of recording today, we've had some peaty scotches. But it's just hinting there.
Yeah. That's delightful.
Yeah. It's Bunnahabhain.
Yeah.
Just a little bit something extra going on.
Yeah, I like it. That's a good one.
Yeah,
as far as like the travel ones that we had last year, like this one might be the better of them.
Yeah, I think what Bunnahabhain does, or what all these distilleries really do with their travel retail, is let's give something that is just adjacent to the things that you can find normally.
Right.
And I think this one does it really well.
Yeah, that one's really good.
Yeah.
That'll be a nice dram to have.
What's nice about, also visiting Scotland, and at least for us in terms of like customs and things like that, it's pretty easy to bring back stuff. And I really, in this case, brought back a fair amount of scotch, and I really enjoyed kind of also discerning what do I want to bring back and what can I live without.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah, for sure.
But it was like, what do I want to pay for? How much do I want to, worry about this bottle if something happens to it? So it's all those kind of things. And I'm really happy with the choices that I made. And I'm excited for everyone to hear about it. Yep. And I'm excited to try them with you.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that conversation with the customs agent when you get back is always fun. What'd you bring back? Liquor. How much? Some.
Not enough.
Not enough for you to care about. Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Well, man, so but as we transition into your summer recap, when I got to the customs here in Orlando, at that point, like I still was in the final throes of COVID, still like in that foggy, delirious kind of state. Like,
I've been up for 23 hours.
That, and then obviously being sick. Right. For several days before that too.
Right.
So like when we were talking, or I was talking to the customs agent, gave him the passports, everything. He looks at me and says, anything to declare? And I was like, whiskey. That was my answer.
Right.
And he says, how much? And I just blank. I'm like, so I look at my wife. Yeah. I'm like, she said 2 bottles each. I was like, sounds right.
Yeah.
And I was like, just shook my head. He's like, okay.
Same for me. Like I totally whiffed on that question. Yeah. The guy was like, did y'all bring any alcohol back? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, what'd you bring? And I was like, I think like 2 bottles of alcohol, but then like, yeah. I don't know, 8 beers.
Exactly.
And then when I looked at it when I got home, I was like, God, I got like well over a dozen beers, and there's at least 3 bottles of like liquor. Whatever.
Right.
He doesn't care.
Nah. Well, and if they, you would just pay some extra duty. And I was fully prepared to do that, but like they didn't even.
Delicious whiskeys, man.
Thank you.
Thanks for bringing those back.
Yeah, you're welcome. I know you brought back some goodies, and I'd love to hear about your travel.
I bought a scotch.
Did you?
Yeah, got a scotch in London at the duty free, and it's freaking delightful.
Did you ever go to the whiskey exchange? You
didn't make it.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't think you did.
did.
No. I went to Spain, Portugal, and then finished off in London.
Yeah.
And brought back a lot of beer.
Yeah.
Had a lot of beer in Spain and in Portugal that I was wanting you to get the opportunity to try. It's fun trying stuff from different parts of the world.
Absolutely. I mean, that's partially why we travel.
Yeah. So I'll go grab some beer.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Okay. I'll be right here. Whoa. So what you bring back?
Man, I brought back a lot of beer.
Yeah.
I brought back a lot of beer. I went to, like I said, the majority of the trip was in Spain. We went over. We flew into Barcelona.
Okay.
In Barcelona for a few nights, and then we got on a cruise ship in Barcelona, and we went to Lisbon, Portugal.
Wow.
First time I'd been to Lisbon. That was a bucket list city that I definitely wanted to go to. And then we went to 2 stops in the north of Spain, Vigo and A Coruña.
Oh, yeah.
And then we ended in England, in Southampton, and we hopped on a train and went to London for a few nights. That was the trip, and it was
So primarily Spain.
Primarily Spain. Yeah, one stop in Portugal, but yeah, primarily Spain. And this was a very beer-heavy vacation for me. Like that was predominantly what I drank.
Well, because I guess your other option would be mainly wine, right? Like it's
not
that they don't have other things, but
for sure. But it's just I don't know. It's just what I was in the mood for.
Sure.
It was summertime,
right?
And Europe is a beer-forward place
For sure.
So it was. Anytime you go into these cities, they're all promoting their beer, and you see it everywhere. And it's just it just hits on a nice hot summer day.
Definitely.
So, yeah, that's what I got a lot of.
All right, what are we starting with?
We're going to start with a beer from Portugal.
Ooh.
It's actually a Radler.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. This is the, I guess it's pronounced Sagrés.
Sure, my Portuguese is impeccable, and that's how I'd pronounce it.
But yeah, it's Radler Nature Lemoa.
Ooh. Lamau?
Yeah. I had this beer in Lisbon.
Okay.
The day that I was there, beautiful, bright, sunny day. I got out early before the rest of my family, and this might have been like the reason why we went on this cruise is because it was going to go to Lisbon, and like I said, I wanted to go there for a long time and just experience it. The videos and things that I had seen of it, like it's just like this epic European city that you just need to see. Like
right.
It's a city that was more or less demolished by a few different, like definitely an earthquake and a tidal wave that came through and absolutely wiped out the city at some point in time. But the essence of it, it's all still there. There's this big, huge, grand plaza right on the waterfront, and our boat literally like pulled right up to it, and it leads from like a grand like a Broadway style street that just cuts right through the city center, and it's a very pedestrian city.
Right.
What Lisbon's known for is in all of their big, huge piazzas that you have in any other city, that they're all covered in this tile work.
Right.
The buildings are all covered in all these ornate, really decorative tiles, and they're all unique and different from each other.
Yeah, that's really cool.
But the city, the plazas themselves are like have these. It's just black and white tiles that are laid in different graphic patterns and things like that, and it's just a really cool vibe of a city. Family
it's on my list too. Like I'd love to go to Portugal.
Family did eventually get off the boat and come visit with me. And like I said, when I went off by myself, I went straight up this mountain and went all the way up to the very top of it. Like downloaded really quickly before I got off the boat that day, like a self-guided walking tour.
Yeah.
And it was like, start here. But our recommendations would be to take a taxi there and then walk back down. I was like, I don't need no taxi. Oh my gosh. Like it was like a lot of it was like straight up vertical. And I'm wearing like, just like some loafer, slip on type shoes. And there were plenty of moments where like just like dusty, like I totally was like, I'm not sure if I can walk up this. But made it work. Would have been wise to perhaps taking a taxi up there.
Yeah.
Probably would have been a lot quicker for sure. But got up there, and just some of the views from up there, just absolutely incredible. You can see the entire city surrounding you. But made my way back down the mountain, following this walking tour. Went to a castle, over here on the side. Went to another like little lookout spot over here, and then made my way back down to the boat. Met up with my family. Then we went over to the main plaza, and then started up this main street like I was talking about.
Yeah.
And like another thing that Lisbon and specifically is known for is this one style of like a pastry. It's like a little custard pastry. So walked up, found a place that's just their windows are covered in them. Stopped there, got a couple of those pastries, and grabbed this Radler.
Okay. I'm a sucker for a Radler, man.
I know you are. I don't know if you're gonna like this one though.
Really?
I don't think it's your style of Radler.
Okay.
But
now you got me even more interested. Yeah, you got me even more interested now. Hey, you love Radlers. This one might not be yours.
And I say that just because, like, looking at the specs,
2%.
it's 2%.
That's what most Radlers are.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's a weak Radler. I'm gonna say it. I don't think it's your kind of thing, but we'll see.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
All right. Looks like a Radler.
Yeah. For sure.
Traditional Radlers are light beer and lemonade, basically.
The Radlers, I feel like that I've had with you.
Yeah.
I feel like have a certain quality that I feel like this one doesn't have.
Okay. On the nose?
On the nose.
Lemonade.
A lot of lemon. Yeah. It's predominantly lemonade-y.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Like super fresh.
Yep.
Lemonade. Yeah. All right.
I tell you, like, I mean, that day, when I finally got this, I'd already walked like 2 miles.
I had 6 of them.
And it was just, it hit the spot, man. And like, just where we were at, like right in the middle of this main street.
Yeah.
It's one of those moments that, just like, this is the perfect thing for right now in this moment.
That's what, yeah. All right. I'm going in. No, that's fantastic.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. That's hell yeah. That is oh my gosh.
Like, to me, it's very lemonade forward.
Yeah.
It's almost even hard to like say, is there even beer in this?
No, that's exactly what, like when I think Radler, that's exactly what I want. It's
okay. I was misled.
I
thought I've always felt like it was the other way in like some of the things that we've had where it's like it's more of a touch of lemon.
No, I would rather, and I know exactly what you're talking about. I would rather this is like 3/4, 1/4.
Right.
Kind of thing. Like
right.
it's mostly lemonade.
It's dominated by.
Yeah, because I could be botching this a little bit, but the Radler, I think, was invented in Germany, and it was invented by German bicyclists. As they were like done with their bike route or whatever, they didn't want a full beer because it was heavy, but they wanted something refreshing to cool them off, so they mixed beer and lemonade.
Right.
And that's where it comes from.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so this is perfect. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like I said, like it even paired really well with the custard tart.
Yeah, man.
No way I'll pronounce it right. A pastis de bellum.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Again, my Portuguese, that's exactly how I'd pronounce it.
But again, it's just like a little cup of a tart.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing with this custard in it. They're actually fantastic.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those things of like why is this not like everywhere?
Right.
Why is it just here? But they get this like nice little like
burnt,
like little caramelized thing on top. They're fantastic.
Yeah.
And this
I'm sure
so well with it.
Well, and what's nice about a beer like this is that it's just enough beer, and it's just I don't know. I think this is a perfect proportion.
Right.
You could, if you wanted to, have several of these.
Yeah, you could crush 3 or 4 of these real quick,
easy.
and you're not.
No,
gonna
you don't feel any sort of way. Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine a better beer for a warm, toasty Portuguese day.
Yeah.
Especially
this
after
crushed.
like walking like you walked. Oh man,
really did. It absolutely crushed.
Thank you. That is fantastic.
Humor me right quick, because like I don't want to do this by myself. Like I said, Sagrés is the Portuguese beer. It's all over the place there. Every restaurant, every sign has one. And I didn't have it while I was there.
Okay.
But I bought one so that we could try it. So let's try it.
Let's try it. What's the ABV on this one?
5%.
Oh, okay. Smells delightful. Like beer.
Yeah, smells like beer.
Yeah.
A little lemon on it.
Yeah, malty nature.
Like
slight sweet.
I feel like that's, everywhere over there. All the beers that I've had, like Australia, even in Italy, like I think of Peroni and I think of like Moretti. That's always kind of just like the base note in these Mediterranean regions.
Sure.
Of just a nice, comfortable, I wouldn't necessarily call it a light beer.
No.
It's in that ballpark, but just malty forward.
Malty forward. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's great.
A lot of caramel on that one.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's the mouthfeel is a little bit heavy.
Yeah, it's got some heft to it.
Yeah, it's not a light beer.
No. Yeah, it's got plenty of flavor.
Plenty of flavor, plenty of mouthfeel, but those malty notes are definitely prevalent.
Yeah. Man,
That's
I
fantastic.
regret not having one.
Yeah, that's really great.
Should have bought more.
Yeah, and again, that's what I love about travel. It's experiencing different drinks and experiencing different food and different cultures and people.
Yeah, that's absolutely delightful.
So what for you was a standout like moment in that trip? Kind of like what you asked me, like this moment or this thing causes you to pause and like, do I want to do this again? Because it was so perfect.
Oh, man. Like, I don't know that it was a thing that happened or that we did. Like, a downside for me of the cruising type of travel is that you rarely ever get to fully experience, like, a full day in the place. You get to experience from 8 o'clock in the morning until as late as 8 o'clock at night, but you don't get to experience what does it feel like to be here at night.
Right.
And that's something I really enjoy in so many different cities is even just walking around at nighttime and seeing it all lit up. If you've never been to Paris at night, you probably haven't really actually been to Paris.
Right.
You need to see everything lit up. And so that is like, the one bummer. Like, I mean, in Lisbon specifically, like it's known as, like they promote like itself as the city of light. And a lot of that is like the nighttime aspect of it. And I got to see like a lot of, images of what this looks like at night. And it's like, oh man, that looks incredible.
Yeah. I wish I was here at night.
So yeah, like, to return to any of these places, it would be like for that. Or like, for example, the day that we were in Vigo, Spain, it was on a Sunday and everything is closed down on Sunday. Like to the point that it's like, like we just, nothing's open on Sunday. And so it would be fun to return there and see it in more of a lively, what it's like to actually go here during a busier time and see all the storefronts open and people shuffling around. That'd be nice to see, because the day that we were there, like the main plaza was open. Those restaurants were open. A lot of the gift shops and stuff like that were open, but everything else
But like your local
was
spots.
closed.
But yeah.
Well, even like big retail giant stores were all closed up.
Wow.
Like nothing was open. Like it was literally like a ghost town once you started kind of getting out from that main plaza. It'd be that kind of a thing of like, I'd like to see this side of it.
Right.
But at the same time, like our experience in all these places was so good that for me, and this thought of, man, do you risk going back and it deteriorating the experience that you had here? Is it worth that risk? I'm not confident that it would be.
Right. Was there like a meal that you were like, oh my God, this is Spain and or Portugal in a nutshell, and I'm so glad.
No, this was not a culinary experience.
Interesting.
And again, I think like
just because maybe doing cruise
it's
style,
just the cruise thing. Like I would eat breakfast on the boat,
right?
Before I would go out for the day, and then in Lisbon we stopped and had the pastries and some drinks. Didn't have a meal out there. In Vigo, we did the same thing. Like we had drinks and things, and then same thing in A Coruña. We didn't have a full meal.
Right.
It was more just like we would order like in A Coruña was probably the closest thing we had to a meal. We had some patatas bravas. We had some calamari. We had 3 or 4 things there.
Right.
But it was just more at a place that was just like, just small bites.
Sure.
Because I think that's just like the culture. Because we weren't there at nighttime when you have your big meal.
Right.
I mean, we did have a meal. We ate at a great tapas restaurant in Barcelona, our very first night there. That was epic. Like all 4 of us loved that restaurant. We had, I guess we all probably split like 7 or 8 different tapas.
Yeah.
Fish. We had pumpkin, not ceviche, but what's like raw. It was great.
Yeah.
Loved it. Everything that we ordered there that night was like fantastic. They had Australia on tap, so I was happy. That was probably like our, come to think of it, that was probably our best restaurant experience. It was like the coolest vibe of a restaurant. Like just the place itself, it was tiny. It was literally 50, not even 50, 10 feet from our Airbnb. Like it was right across the street. It was epic. Loved that place. And it was like very first night.
Cool.
And I don't think we beat it.
That's cool.
All right, one more beer.
What you got?
This is it's called 1906 La Milnueve. It's from A Coruña.
Okay.
They make it in A Coruña. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
Like you're seeing the signs for it everywhere. And the first place I had it was actually in Vigo. Vigo is just south of A Coruña. They're both right on the. A Coruña is more like right on the northern border of Spain, the northern, and like just around the corner is Vigo. So it's just a little south, but they're both like, these port cities right on the in like little coves, more or less, like, that kind of dip into the country. We accidentally climbed up a huge mountain in Vigo.
As one does.
Well, it's like we start out, we're going up that way, and then like, oh, there's another little place right there. If we just go up there, like maybe that's like an even better view. So we go up there, and then you get up to that one, and there's like, oh, look, there's another little spot right up there. Maybe we should try to go up there. And so eventually we went all the way to the top, and not planning to do that. We had no water, we had no sodas or anything with us, but my wife and I would get up there and experience the whole thing. And as we're coming back down, I'm looking out this like little archway, and I see like a restroom. Like, I could totally go for a break right now.
Right.
And so we start walking that way, and as we go out the arch over towards where that restroom is, I look over to the right side, and there's a little cafe.
Ooh.
I was like, bet. So we head over to that cafe, and we go inside, and they've got this beer on tap. And I was like, cerveza, please, por favor. We get some drinks. My wife quickly realizes that cider in Spanish is sidra. And they had a cider there, and it was delightful also. But I had this there, and it was by far the best beer I had on vacation.
Okay, you got me excited.
We got to do it.
Sounds good. Ooh, look at that. Golden amber.
Yeah, like
Ooh.
It takes all those great things that we were saying about like the flavor profile and things of European style beers, and it just like it pluses it a bit.
Yeah, it smells a little Oktoberfesty.
Yeah, it is in that ballpark. And the red,
yeah,
maybe even a little better. Maybe a little better.
That smells delicious.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like you said, great color. Which is not necessarily
right
when you're getting just like the house beer in any of these like European cities. It's usually kind of a lighter thing, but this is made in A Coruña.
That's cool. All right, I'm going in.
Take a sipsy.
Enough sniffing, time for sipping. Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a game changer.
That is fantastic.
Yeah, had a couple of these on top of that mountain. Made our way back down to the little main plaza there. Had a few more there. Quickly became my favorite beer.
Yeah, I can see why.
On vacation. Yeah,
I expected the mouthfeel to be way heavier. Like it's actually a pretty easygoing light mouthfeel.
Yeah, which I think again is like it's like a quintessential note of like these European Mediterranean beers.
Yeah,
are that like crushability?
Yes. Yeah.
But man, they pack all the flavor in there to it.
I remember we had last year a Radler. We were on Hania in Greece, and we were at a restaurant. Our families all together. We had
big group.
17 million of us in tow, and we had a Radler there. I don't know if you remember this Radler.
I didn't have the Radler. I don't think.
I definitely.
I remember you.
Yeah, I had the Radler.
Had it.
It was very similar to the Radler that you got in Portugal, the Sagrés.
Yep.
I remember then thinking, wow, like it was the same kind of ratio, the 3-4 quarter beer. But there's so much flavor in this.
Right.
And then I had whatever the beer that you had originally.
Right.
And which was, the local Hania
just
produced,
like whatever Grecian beer that they had.
And I was like, damn, this is good too.
Yeah.
Like, it's just beer.
Yeah.
But it's phenomenal.
Well, and is it phenomenal, or is it just like a set of circumstances of like you're
both,
in this
both.
you're at a your hormones are all fucked up because like you're just so happy, of where you're at,
sure,
and the experience that you're having, and it's just like, man, this is great.
Yeah. Both.
I think it is.
Both.
I think it's a bit of both.
I think it's a bit of both. Like, I think the beer is solid, but I think it's accentuated by the experience.
Mm-hmm.
Like, on that same trip, we were by a boat. Well, we were by a lake, and there's a cafe at the very top of the hill by this lake.
Right.
And I got coffee. My wife got a coffee. Our mutual friend got a coffee.
Yeah. And I got a beer.
You got a beer. And I was like, well, damn, I think I want a beer too. So I remember drinking beer and this coffee at basically the same time.
Right.
It was amazing.
It was great.
It was so good.
What a good combo. Yeah, that was great. It was like that, like, I feel like it started with an A, Alteo or something.
No idea.
It's just.
But again, I think that's the experience of travel. It opens your understanding into new possibilities. Like, again, is this beer phenomenal beer? I mean, I am not in Portugal or Spain right now drinking this beer. And it's good beer.
And right, yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, yes, it is good beer. But then like obviously you add in the travel aspect of it and you're like, oh, phenomenal. Give me 12 of them.
Have you ever heard of this beer? The 1906?
No, sir.
Delightful beer, right?
Yeah.
I had the same experience the first trip that we ever took to Europe, and I had the Australia Dam beer. Loved it. And so much of that I felt like was wrapped into the experience of when I had it, how I had it, everything, and it was just perfect.
Right.
And I say the same thing with Peroni. I can sip that beer and I'm immediately taken back to that moment in time, and I can remember my kids being the age that they were at the time, and it's just wrapped in nostalgia.
Sure.
And I think this is going to end up being the same way. Ironically enough, though, yesterday when Maria was at Epcot, they now have this beer.
1906 at Epcot.
Is at Epcot.
Wow.
But I think again says like, yeah, no, this is
solid.
This is really
solid.
good beer if we're willing to like,
import it all the way to America.
Yeah, and have it at Epcot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
She sent me that. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I've never heard of this.
Oh, man. Good drinks all around.
Yeah. But it's just so fun to go into like a local market.
Exactly.
And see all the beer that they've got. And like, I didn't know 1906 had a red ale.
Right.
They had it there in the can. I'm like, oh, I'm getting some of those. It's just so much fun.
Yeah.
And you want to be able to try so many different things, and you can. And what's cool, I don't know if you noticed it, the way they do 6-packs over there. See that little dot of glue?
Yeah.
They just glue them all together.
Oh.
But if you want to just buy one,
Just crack it.
just pop it off. Yeah, I'm just gonna get one. But that's how they pack their 6-packs. They don't do the plastic rings.
It even says on the side how to do it.
Yeah. I was like, well, that's friggin' brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I got like 3 of them just lined up and just these are mine.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Good shit.
Well, you got anything else?
I got more beer.
You do. We might could sample some more beer.
Yeah. You want to try another one?
I would love to try another one.
Yeah.
I should not.
Yeah, me too. That's summer travel wrapped up.
Yeah.
We did it.
We did it.
We did our trips.
We did.
We got all of our episodes recorded.
And we made it back.
And we're back. And and now we're,
back in the New York mood, groove.
New York?
Yeah.
You going to New York?
No. God, no.
Oh, yeah. No, me neither.
Back in the New York.
Back in a New York minute?
Anyway.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just, this was a summer unlike any that we've done.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of like both of us being gone
at different
on
times.
Big trips at different times.
Yeah.
We came up with the idea of the summer of cocktails. We did that. We accomplished it. And somehow we got all those episodes pre-recorded.
Yeah.
And we did it. Now we're on the other side of it.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to see what the fall holds for us.
Oh, man. Oktoberfest is right around the corner.
Who, buddy?
Here we go.
Well, on that note, we'd love to know about your favorite travel drink experience.
Yeah. Let us know. Like, where did you travel over the summer, and what was that one drink that was like, that made it?
Yeah, and that's going to take me back. If I ever have it again, right to that place.
That's the one.
Yeah. Well, you can reach us through email. That's drepandstone@gmail.com. You can also get in touch with us through social media.
It's always one word, Drep and Stone. You know it. It's DREPN Stone.
Yeah, it is.
Just type it all together. It's going to take you right to us wherever you're at. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.
Plenty of fish.
That's the thing.
I don't know.
But try it.
Yeah.
We might be there.
And we'd love it if you support the podcast. You can do so through our Patreon page. It's patreon.com/dripandstone. You can tell someone about the podcast, which is probably like the easiest way to get the word out. And finally, you can support the podcast by getting yourself something special on flaviar.com. And use the promo code DSP10. Help support the podcast. And you get some nice bottles as well.
Yeah, it helps you and us.
Ain't nothing better. On that note, hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
May your glass overflow.
And your ass never show.
Clink them glasses. Ooh.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers.